The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Kia ora, I'm Alex Casey, senior writer at The Spin-off. We wouldn't exist without the ongoing support of our generous members. If you're able to, you can make a donation at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The launch party for Treasure Island's happening tonight, by the way.
Is it tonight?
Yes.
What? Am I invited to that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need to send a text.
Kia ora koutou, welcome to The Real Pod. My name is Jane Yee and I have had my fly down all morning.
Have you?
Yeah, I just went to the Whare Paku and fly was south and I haven't been since I left home this morning. So that, by the power of logic, I've deduced that all morning it's been down. No one said a thing.
I didn't notice, and I wouldn't have said anything had I noticed, but
Okay.
I didn't.
I mean, that's quite strategic talk there because now I don't know if you would, if you did or you didn't. I'm paranoid ever since coming back from the island, to be fair.
It's the best way to be.
You are Duncan Grieve.
I am. I actually, not more than an hour ago, I interviewed Glenn Kine,
Oh.
who is the head of Warner Brothers Discovery here, and we talked about reality TV. Talked about he's talking about traders, how great traders. It was quite exciting. So, if you're a corny and you want a bit of fold in your life, this one's sort of relatively relevant to your interests. Go.
And I'm assuming you did the same the other way, right? Because he makes reality TV, and in the fold you would have said we have this great reality TV podcast.
Samuel?
Did you? Okay, no,
Okay.
we got shout-outs.
Okay.
We got shout-outs.
Amazing.
Because I feel like you've got a chip on your shoulder. Like I never talk about my silly pod on my proper pod.
Yeah, but you talk about your proper pod on your silly pod all the time.
No, it's true. I'm just trying to get the numbers up.
That's all right. I think your proper pod has more numbers than our silly pod. So I think
It's
you
really
need to,
close. They're both
the
equally
race is on.
unsuccessful.
I have, however, gone on Treasure Island to try and up our numbers. And
Yeah.
while we're on the subject of that, something very exciting is happening.
It is.
There's a whole bloody campaign happening called Team Jane here at the Spin-off.
Woo!
This is actually really important to us and also a great test of the cornies' loyalty and devotion.
Yeah, please, before we go any further, do not embarrass us at this point because
Me?
No, the cornies. I'm speaking to the cornies. It just goes without saying for you. It's just like a morning mantra when you get up. Just hear my voice
standing
in your
order.
head. But we have got a little members drive going at the moment. We'd love for you to become a Spin-off member or to make a one-off donation. And the first 30 people to do so will get a limited edition Team Jane Spin-off tote bag. On one side, you've got the Spin-off logo. On the other side, a Toby Morris original of me mug and the rest of my body mostly, actually, to mid
Fly
thigh.
conspicuously up.
Flies up in this one, which is good. And I'm just quoting there, everyone watch your backs.
It's an incredibly cool tote. You can't get a much more limited edition than that. But the big thing is, like, it's actually a really good cause because COSI Lives, as I've seen the UK abbreviation for the cost of living crisis, is real. I know it impacts people. It's really impacting your old mates at the Spin-off too. We need member support like we never have before going into this year, and that's why we've thought, what is a devoted group of fans who probably always wanted to be members. You know, they're listening to the pod. Oh God, where is a member button I can mash? But they're driving their car probably into the back of someone else's car, like Samuel over here, and haven't quite gotten around to it. Now is the time. now you get some absolutely all-timer merch, and you get to show in a public way your support of beloved Jane.
And if you don't want to, you can always just show, you can have that bit against your body and just show the spin-off logo. You know, you've got options here.
Got options.
I mean, like, depending on what happens on the show, I might do something that you're upset about, so then you whip the spin-off logo around. I might do something awesome that you're happy to be associated with, and you flip around the Team Jane side.
It's so versatile.
It's like a reversible bikini, one of those ones I keep getting advertised on Instagram at the moment.
Honestly, you could probably
could.
make that into a reversible bikini.
You probably could. I mean,
with
honestly.
a stitch in time.
Not only that, but you also get a personalised video message from me.
That is mad.
So if you want that, it's basically a free cameo. People charge. Charge
do.
money for those. And
do.
this could be yours as part of your special donation.
But so really, like, don't make us look like eggs who made these totes out of belief in the corn community, and then they don't sell through. Like, we really need to send a message to Gone by Lunchtime,
Yeah.
to When the Facts Change, and to the godforsaken idiots at the Fold that the corn community is passionate, and when the bell rings, they will answer that bell by reaching into their pockets and donating to become spin-off members. You get all the other benefits too.
Yeah.
But you also get this beautiful tote.
Yeah, and the personalised video message.
And the personalised
Which,
video
I mean,
message.
and you know me. It can be for anyone. It can be for mum. It can be for your cat. It can be for you. You can say no thanks. I mean, whatever, you know? Whatever.
If anyone says no thanks, I'll be so impressed. Like,
Just get clever with it, you know?
yeah.
All right, anyway, that's the first 30 people. So run, don't walk. The spinoff.co.nz/Team Jane is where you need to go to take part in that and be in to get your little toty and video message. Let's have some real news. Okay, exciting. The Treasure Island Fans vs. Faves launch party is happening tonight, and those in attendance are going to get to see the very first episode in advance of the rest of the country, which is super, super, super nerve-wracking and exciting.
That was, I just had like a freaking heart attack. 'Cause, you know, I live in my calendar. I'm sure that's true of many of our listeners
It's a cost
too.
of living crisis situation.
Cause he lives. And that's funny. And I just realised I haven't been looking at it. Like, I've not been seeing it. I was like this close until I came on this podcast. I might have missed it. My favourite party of the year.
Your absence would have been conspicuous. I would have been on the phone stat.
Yeah,
To get you there.
yeah.
And you would have dropped whatever, putting out the garden bins, which, for a long time when I first started this spin-off, I was getting notifications every time you had to put your garden bins out. Because I was somehow subscribed to your calendar alerts.
I'm gonna do a bit on my garden bins today, because that was probably one of the big highlights of my week, was my behaviour around the garden bin.
Wow, I thought it might have been around the movement of rooms around your house. But we'll get to that. I mean, it's a very
It's
stacked,
been action-packed.
very stacked pod this week. Anyway, Amy and Kate entered to win tickets to come along as Corny represents at the launch party tonight, and they won. I mean, other people entered as well. It wasn't just like those default two because they were the only
The
ones
way
who
that you were
entered.
explaining it sounded really, really...
I know. Look, I before we walked into the studio, I didn't even have a doc. I hadn't even started any sort of a doc, and I've since put like 3 things in the doc.
You've been docking?
Yeah, so it's fast and loose this week. So yes, it just what else? What else to say? Tell us about your garden bin. This whole thing's basically real news, right? We might talk some Love Island later on.
So I've come. I'm doing a lot of new year, new me.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Alex isn't here this week. Sorry, Alex.
What we should have done is just not said anything and then just acted like she was there. Just didn't have a lot to say this week.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah, just bad Zoom feed. She's just watching us.
Yeah, but she would do.
She would.
And she will listen to it. She's loyal.
Okay.
Unlike some people.
Who, you?
Me.
Yeah. I was going to say, I listen. In fact, Stuart's home in London caught me listening to it. So I got out the car the other day. It was kind of embarrassing.
That's actually one of the reasons I don't listen is, like, if Nikki catches me listening to one of my podcasts, she absolutely roasts me. So, yeah, big week around the house. The new year, the new me is wanting to be a more committed sort of house proudy sort of person. The house is always very tight, to be clear. Like, I'm a neat freak. We're neat freaks. But the garden, it comes and it goes. And so, I bought myself a new electric mower. I'm having a time out there. And okay, so should I start with the garden bins?
So I think we can wait no longer.
Okay. So, and Nikki was like, "This is ultra weird what you did." So basically, like, I had four of my compost bins worth of stuff, but only 2 compost bins. So I filled them up, and then I just sort of waited lurking for them to be picked up. And then it's like 7 a.m. Monday morning, run out, I'm kind of sweaty from exercise, and was like, can I give you some more stuff? And they're like, look, if you can fill them up, like they're not doing any extra. And I was like, fair play. So I was just like frantically heaving piles of leaves and branches into my garden bins before 7 a.m. in front of these kind of, the dog walkers of Mount Albert. And they took them away, and I was like, that's really cool. And then Nikki was like, you're an absolute freak. I would never do that.
I have some questions.
Okay.
So you had filled the bins and then they emptied them and you refilled them? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so they waited around while you...
Yeah, I mean, I know that makes me sound terrible.
No, it doesn't. It makes you sound...
And also, I did it very quickly.
It doesn't make you sound terrible. I'm sure that they were pleased for the smoko break, but they could have and should have probably charged you for that.
I'm sure I will get charged. Like Green Gorilla knows how to charge.
Right, so you're still waiting to see if there's a little invoice that comes in.
Oh, I know. I mean, this is just they're a well-run business.
So was Nikki worried about you just being a social deviant?
Yeah, she was like, you just have to wait. Like, I know that it's annoying.
Yeah,
but I'm just like this is basically like a little microcosm of the way I operate in this world. Is I just try and find a little Kaizen.
Kaizens. I learned about Kaizens from you.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a little Kaizen. I can't, because otherwise I'd be like 2 more weeks before I can do any more gardening, and I'm like, my blood's up. I want to keep doing it.
Do you get a 2-week pickup?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I got 2 bins.
Those bins
They get stinky.
Well, yeah, they get stinky, but they also are. They're not big enough.
Yeah.
I've got a monthly collection. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Do you have any hedge in part of your big garden?
Yeah, I've got 2 giant hedges.
No, but have you got hedge clippers?
Yeah, I got hedge clippers.
Oh my God.
I've kind of got them all
Have you got the
now.
telescopic ones?
No.
Oh,
but I've kind of got long arms.
Can I borrow
legs.
your regular one and then?
I mean, yes, but,
Whoa,
but
hang on.
Nikki's like, you shouldn't loan out your tools because they'll get, if they break, well then what? Like, you just have to end the friendship, because you can't pay for them to be fixed because you were just borrowing them, and I can't ask you to pay.
Wow.
But I'll never love you again because I've got a broken hedge trimmer.
Okay.
It's just something to think about.
I mean,
but no, you can obviously borrow them.
I would pay to get them fixed. If something breaks on my watch that I've borrowed from someone, I pay to get it fixed. I'm a good human. I'm not a deviant who leaps out and makes the Green Gorillas guy take extra compost.
I don't know, but I don't know if I could accept that. Maybe we go halves. Anyway, yeah, you can borrow my hedge
the plan
clippers.
is not to break your hedge.
I've got like a little chainsaw.
I just don't even feel like I can borrow them now. I just feel like things have gotten really awkward. There's no Alex here to diffuse the situation.
No, it's not awkward. It's fine.
Well, you basically said I don't want to lend them to you, but I will because I'm.
Maybe I should just come around and do your
hedges.
hedges.
That's even better.
Okay, that's solved. Yeah, well, and maybe you should tell me something because I don't want to just keep going on about my room shift.
I've truly got nothing. I've got nothing. I want to talk about the fact that Samuel real potted really pretty spectacularly last week. He's
we'll treat it like it's the news headlines, and obviously the whole green bin saga led off. Most important.
Yeah, that was the lead.
So second, but this is before the first ad break. We've got Samuel and the car crash.
Yeah, so Samuel. It was a proper Real Pod way of having a car crash.
It was a Real Pod way of listening to the Real Pod. I mean, truly, that episode had just come out. You guys are talking about how it's embarrassing that you listen back to your old podcast. I listen to them, edit them, quality check them, and then listen to them again when they come out.
So that's like 4 times in 24 hours. That's...
Duncan is giving me the wildest eyes I've ever seen. But so I was on my way home, and I just fully rear-ended someone. I was in this I feel like my insurance company is listening to this as I speak.
I promise you they're not.
This is a short story based on reality for insurance company evidence purposes.
Yeah, this is all alleged. I completely rear-ended someone. I was so entranced by the magic of this podcast.
That's what we need to know.
Well, I can't remember because the thing is you kind of go into a bit of a panic when you have a car accident.
So you didn't take notes on who was talking?
No,
at the time?
I
Okay.
wasn't. I wasn't like, oh, this immediately needs to be real pod content. But as I was driving home, I was like, yeah, this is real
That
pod
was-
content.
Yeah. Did you? Were you chuckling? Were you?
Look, I was pretty good. Like, my medication works great. I felt nothing. I was.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about the podcast still. I was like, was there something funny happening on the podcast? Sorry, it's back to you and your health.
Yeah, no, I was fine. Like, the other woman in the car that I hit, sorry, Queen. She was a bit shaken up, but I'm a gentleman. I waited there for her husband. You know, like I gave her a hug consensually. I asked because she was not having the best time.
Oh no!
I feel like you'd be quite a charming person to
be rear-ended by.
See, I like to think that I can take responsibility, despite what my partner said to me on the phone last night. I feel like I can say when I'm wrong and like completely be like, oh yeah, shit, my fault. Sorry, like whoops, like that was me. And yeah, that's just what you have to do at the end of the day, I feel.
Except for that, a lot of insurance policies, probably all of them, say don't accept any responsibility until you spoke to us.
Probably.
But when you've rear-ended someone, the evidence is
pretty unambiguous.
You really smashed in the back of her car. It looked like it's sort of a.
Her car's written off now.
Oh, and it looked like one you carry children in.
So she did have children. Well, she did have children, but they weren't in the car, luckily.
Okay.
And yeah, but it was messy. Like, so we were at a red light on Great North Road, and I'm not used to like.
Well, she was. You were just going straight through.
I'm not used to like bumper to bumper traffic. Yeah, it's bad. Like hot take, fresh new takes.
Your
on this
last week's
podcast.
hot take was housing in Auckland sucks, and this week it's traffic in Auckland sucks.
Yeah.
Can't wait for next week.
I'm really living the Auckland experience since moving up here. But yeah, the traffic, like the light went green. I thought we were going. I was engulfed in my podcast. We weren't going. There was a queue and just accelerated right into the back.
So you didn't.
You were accelerating when you hit.
Yes.
You must have got some speed in that like 2 metre gap, man, because you did a sizing number on the back of your car. I assumed that you were distracted by a very entertaining listening experience and that you sort of didn't notice that the cars were stopped and you banged in. But you went from stationary? Mm-hmm. Wow. Almost commendable.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I can make a big mess.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I cordial with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
Talofa lover, I'm Madeline Chapman, editor at The Spin-off. If you have the means, consider supporting our high-quality journalism by becoming a Spin-off member. Sign up now at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Kia ora, this is Toby Manhire, here to urge you to tune in to Gone by Lunchtime, a podcast with me, Annabelle Lee Mather and Ben Thomas, tackling the world of New Zealand politics, from policy to polling, from scandal to psychodrama. Listen to Gone by Lunchtime, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network, wherever good pods are sold.
Now let's get back to the real news, in which Duncan moves all their rooms around in his house.
I mean, like I should presage this. Like I came in and like my prep for it wasn't great. Like I went to this pop emo party. I invited both of you to, and both of you declined.
I had
to
my
attend.
children, and it started at 9 o'clock at night.
It did. But so I did 5 hours, like a quite intense cathartic dancing to songs from the genres. Like kind of capital P pop and emo. Had a lovely, lovely time. Next morning woke up and remembered, you committed to moving all 4 of the bedrooms around, just like this huge room swap, which in my head was like, that's just a bit of heavy lifting, that'll be fine. It'll take like an hour and a half. It's an ordeal, man.
Prompted by what?
Just a
Did you make the wrong decision when you first moved in? Who went where?
Yeah, we did. I mean, that's a whole saga unto itself, which I won't bore anyone with. But basically, like, we just had to kind of shuffle things around. And at least it's worked. Like, there is a new vibe. People are happier in the Grieve household. I learned some things about how teenage girls live, but it was confronting, and let's just leave it there. And it's fine. It's clearly totally fine. In fact, I'm sure it's typical. I'm sure I was worse as a teenage boy, but still. Anyway, it was a big 6-hour ordeal, and it turns out that rooms have a lot of things.
Like a lot of nooks and crannies and little, you got to clean things. You can't pull out a bed and see all that nasty dust that's built up on the skirting board and go, just pop the other bed. Because this is your one opportunity until you next move house to clean behind the beds. And I apologise if you're someone who actually does that. I apologise on behalf of my disgusting self, but I'm very bad at cleaning the skirting boards behind the beds.
Well, it's not only that, though. There's a bit of is it the chicken, the fox, and what's the other thing?
Yeah, the chicken,
the
fox
grain?
and the grain.
Something like that.
The raft.
There's a raft. There's that kind of quality because you've got to make room in a room so you can move another room in there, but you can't move it into the room that you're moving into. So there's like a kind of some staging that needs to happen that can't get in the way.
Could you not do an intermediary? And they weren't straight swaps, I assume, so there was sort of...
No.
There was no intermediary area nearby where you could just line things up in the lounge or...
Look, it was an ordeal. It really dominated my weekend along with some quite vigorous gardening.
I mean, I messaged you and I was like, I don't know what you're going to talk about in the real pod. And you were like, I moved rooms. We moved rooms. I was like, okay.
With hindsight, that was a very confident thing for a story, which, as we get further into it, I'm like, there's really not a lot here. It's certainly no car crash, but that's maybe how you would describe this podcast.
But you have, actually, we'll play the reality check sting now, please.
I have 4 weeks to decide I'm going to drop my entire life video.
I am disgusted at how much you have copied my husband.
This is fine. I don't even know.
Reality check.
Duncan, you have had a lot of time on an island yourself over the course of the last week.
I have. I've gone from being like basically not an anti-Love Islander, but like someone who basically looked at that show, at the volume of it, and went, I can't possibly, to someone who was like disappointed last night when it was just like the extra bits.
Hate that.
Yeah.
So Love Island UK has kicked off again. We are back in South Africa after not being there for a while. New villa. And it's, what was that? What was that noise that I did? I was trying to say villa in some sort of like...
No, but it was like sort of a kind of a Welshie kind of...
Yeah, I think I'm channeling Paige from last year.
Yeah. Because you did those amazing...
yeah, let's not talk about those.
Those were really good. What were they?
Oh, embarrassing is what they were. I just remember we were out one night and I played them in the car to you and Nikki on our drive home.
Thrilled.
Why? Anyway, I think we might have been at the Love Island rap thing. That might have been where we were. Anyway, moving on. It's a whole new villa, and I don't know, I'm uncomfortable with it.
The fact of it being new villa, or just the fact of it being a whole new cast?
No, the layout, like where the terrace is, it's got like glass balustrades so you can see right through. So there's less of that sneaky listening over the side of the terrace. I liked that kind of Mediterranean, terracotta vibe of the previous villa. This one's kind of like olive green. I don't know, just not, and there's a lot of concrete. I just, you know what it's like, change.
Well, the issues I have is that, like, on at least 2 of the episodes, and there's only been 5, it's been so phenomenally windy that coziness that you have watching it, where you almost feel like you're on holiday, is just absolutely gone, because it just looks really cold. And it might not be a hot wind, but it just doesn't feel good. But I like the mountains in the backdrop.
The mountains is nice, yeah, the mountains are nice. But I do like the sea. The sea view that they had previously did make it feel more like an island, did give more of that island vibe.
Is this island, just to confirm, is the island of Africa? Quite a large island.
Huge island, but an island nonetheless.
Land bridges to other big islands like Russia and China.
So what are your thoughts? I think I've only seen 2 or 3 episodes so far.
I've seen 5. There was like when I first saw it, and again, this is only my second time watching Love Island, and I was like...
Which still blows my mind. Like, I forget that last year was your first season. That is wild.
It is wild. I acknowledge that. Well, at first I was just like, you are all budget store brand versions of last year's contestants, and I can't handle it. And it felt like it was uncomfortably close in the casting. I was also like, where are like the jacked muscle men? Like everyone was just noticeably like more normal looking, which is probably good for something. But I wanted to look at the jacked muscle men, and so that was disappointing. And then as time went on, these like kind of crappy facsimiles started to acquire their own personalities, and I was like, oh, okay, I kind of find you interesting, Ron, or and also Ron is just a funny name for a 23-year-old man in 2023. And then also and as typically happens when the bombshells come in, it just gets spicier. So, because there was a moment like maybe 2 or 3 episodes in where I was like, oh, can I do this? Can I, like, it's weirder watching it in summer. We've got so much reality TV coming up with Married at First Sight, and I think there's another show as well.
Another island one.
But that I didn't know if I could handle the volume, but now I think I'm in.
Is Ron with the one who's with Lana?
With Lana, yeah.
Yeah, right. And he was very much like, I'm loving this situation. And then had a date with a bombshell and was just like, I'm not committed to anything. I'm eyes wide open,
Yeah, I mean, that happens. He ends up, in the most recent episodes, he sort of commits to Lana. But you're also just like, mate, Ron, you're sort of punching with these women. Like, he's very confident and... in the whole package, and it's like, yeah. But it seems to work on them,
Lana I love Lana.
Yeah.
Love
same.
Lana. Very funny. Will, can we just quickly talk about Will?
Can we talk about Will? Like, is that intentional stunt casting of the most... Like, it's just like, how could you put the real pod on a...
I know. It's like...
It's weird.
Like, if you were wearing different clothes and sort of didn't open your mouth at any point or smile and just did like a model shot, you would look like mega hot babe, right? Like, is that the real pod? Probably not. But the moment he starts talking or moving or dressing himself in things...
That's the real pod.
And then it all goes to
mega
custard.
Hot babe. Never open your mouth. Sure, I'll take that.
So this is my first season of Love Island. I've watched maybe 3 episodes. I've just moved into a household that religiously watches Love Island, so I've been kind of like roped into watching some episodes. I like Will. Like, I get everyone hates Will, but like at least he's something. Like that cast is so milquetoast.
You misunderstand.
Good use of milquetoast.
Okay, you misunderstand. I adore Will. I feel bad for Will that he's the comic relief, but I'm glad he's there. I think the thing that's funny to me with him is that he was the last... I mean, he was never chosen at the lineup at the beginning. So when I say he was the last elected, he was like the default person that the 5th girl ended up with. And then he almost immediately got swapped out when a bombshell came in. And then he's like, well, I just have to get my graft on with the girls who are here. And it's like, these girls have already said no to you.
Yeah.
Pretty much kind of twice. And now you're going to try and like steal them out of a relationship. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart, exactly. But, I mean, there's this amazing shot, I think it's episode 4 or 5, where, like, I think the new chappie, the tall football man, whatever his name is, he's walking along, about to talk to Olivia, and it's like a wide, like a real wide. And in the background, Will, you just see, like, it's incidental to the action, but Will is in the kitchen doing just a completely crazy-looking dance. And you're just like, bro, you're so much... And clearly all the time, like it's not just for a bit. It's just this is your whole personality, and it's a lot.
One of my favourite bits of the bits that I have seen was when they were dressing him up for I can't remember what it was for.
One of the bombshells was coming back to the villa after the dates. Like she'd just been on the date, and then she was coming back from her date, and he was like, "I've got to get dressed.
I've got to get dressed up." A bombshell's coming in. Everyone else, by the way, is just topless and wearing boardies
and pearls. And
he feels the need. He's got to dress to impress. And the guys were really trying to help him out and go and try that shirt. I think that one. And everyone he tried on, they were like, "Oh yeah, that looks great." And then the next one, and they basically just went through his whole wardrobe, trying to improve it.
They got to
and
this
they got to a
bland-
white shirt and they're like, that's the one.
I know.
Linen
You look
outfit.
so good.
It's money and just some slightly ill-fitting pants. And I don't know, it's like nothing. It's one of those weird things where it's not like there's anything actually wrong with his outfit or like really how it fits. It just, there's something, it's like an uncanny valley slightly off thing.
Yeah.
You know?
With everything with him. But you did right, Samuel. Like, there is a lot of just the sort of generic Love Islander on the show. And just having Will there as a weird squeaky wheel does, like, you're always stoked when Will gets on screen.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah. They haven't done a brutal first day elimination. Yeah, they did that like 2 seasons ago where they just like first day they got rid of someone who was there for their Love Island journey and packed up and gone within about 8 hours. Awful.
The first elimination is actually really heartbreaking and kind of really reminds you of just how phenomenally tense the show almost can't help but be from a racial perspective. But and yet here we are still watching this awful show.
And I think we've got some 769 episodes left to go, so strap in.
Just gotta stay up to date. Like it's truly. I don't think we've ever had an intense schedule like Maths. How many episodes a week are we on Treasure Island?
I think 3 for Treasure Island. Maths will be 3 or 4.
I think it's 4.
And then
5.
Love Island's like 17. And the thing is, we have had lots of shows at once before, but not.
We've never had. This is
Not the
maxed out episodes, especially as some of these are like, you know, Maths is like hour plus.
Yeah.
You know, Love Island has some hour plus. Like we are in the hole. It's going to be intense. I think I have to go.
You do have to go. You've got a lot of Love Island to watch,
I
so
do.
you best get.
I do. At
best
least
get
I'm
on
up to
that.
date, unlike some people.
Hey, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I know it's been a short and weird one. Don't forget, if you sign up to become a member or if you make a one-off donation at the moment, thespinoff.co.nz/Team Jane, you'll get the lovely Team Jane tote bag, and you'll also get a personalised video message from me for the first 30 people, though.
Please do this.
Please do it, and please
It will mean so much.
consider donating a lovely amount, whatever you deem that to be.
Without wanting to break character and go earnest here, like this silly podcast, which is probably not the news. Like we love to make it, but it does take a lot of time and energy, and particularly of our evenings and often our weekends to assemble the materials. But Spinoff members helps make this. It helps make everything we do. And the whole thing is only plausible because of members. Like if you like the spin-off, if you like to have it in your life, it's not a paywall, so we can't. You know, no one's forced to do it. If you can't afford it, absolutely please don't. But if you can afford to be a member and you want the spin-off to be around and be the vibey little place that it is on the internet for you, and get a real cool Team Jane tote, get amongst.
Get amongst.
Where is it? What's the URL?
URL is thespinoff.co.nz/Team Jane.
Cool.
So weird, but I love it. Thank you. Thanks, Samuel. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for watching through your Zoom there. I'm sorry that we couldn't hear you.
Kia ora, I'm Duncan Grieve, founder of The Spinoff. You can help us keep all of The Spinoff's award-winning journalism free for everybody by becoming a member today at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Kia ora e te iwi, Te Aihe Butler here, podcast manager at The Spinoff. If you enjoy listening to our podcasts, consider supporting our mahi by signing up to become a Spinoff member at thespinoff.co.nz/donate. The Spinoff Podcast Network.